I'll dance towards a girl, then I'll literally just drop to the floor, and then automatically what they do is like, you okay, you okay?
Save me.
And it's just a perfect, like, icebreaker to speak to them.
That's one way to get a girl.
It works 9 times out of 10. It's not good, kids, and it's not clever.
The type of cerebral palsy that I have is hemiplegia, so it affects the whole left side of my body, from like my eyesight down to the size of my foot and kind of everything else in between.
The type of cerebral palsy I have is called spastic diplegia. So it affects my mobility, my coordination,
And sometimes speech and vision. Everyone with cerebral palsy is completely different.
Cerebral palsy generally isn't non-visible, but for me it is, and I think I've always kind of struggled with not where I fit, but how to manage it and how to unpack people's interpretation of what they think cerebral palsy is.
I'm non-verbal. At school, I was made aware of the power that I could have if I used my voice output. My specialist advisor downloaded a voice that sounded like the Queen for me to trial. I love the idea of being Queen Ellise.
One of the most frustrating but common misconceptions about cerebral palsy that my IQ is affected. This is not the case for me. I pride myself on being really quite academic.
Yeah, I think people communicate with me very differently once they hear the word cerebral palsy come out of my mouth.
In the past, I have been treated like a baby. And I have been totally misjudged and patronized.
The other part would be staring. It's very common, and it's extremely difficult for me to distinguish between if people are looking at me in admiration or they are looking at me in a judgmental way.
And it's really hard, right? Because most of the time people aren't trying to be nasty.
It's about not assuming that everybody with a disability struggles with learning.
Just because I'm non-verbal or someone's speech is slurred doesn't mean we don't understand you. Speak to us as you would anyone else.
People assume because I'm disabled I'm going to get easily offended, which isn't true. I try and find the funnier side about my disability, and I find it easier to deal with.
My sister once said, "I'm so lucky to have you as my sister." I felt proud, and with the next breath she said, "We get to skip all the cues."
Travelling can be really stressful. Like trying to get to a handrail and not being able to, that's really scary because like, my balance is rubbish. I could just fall over. And my friend turned around to me and she was like, if you just beep really loudly like you're a truck reversing, people will move out the way. I was like, I don't know. I don't want to be that person that's like, follow the rules and follow the signs, but follow the rules and follow the signs, because if like, you know, if you're going up and down the ways you should be, it's immediately easier for somebody to access the handrail, because the handrail's not decoration, it's support.
Not all disabilities are obvious.
As sat in a car with no movements, I look no different. You can't judge a book by its cover.
This man came walking over to me. You're not disabled, you don't look disabled, you shouldn't be parking there. And I got out of the car and it was a very awkward situation.
Isn't it hot under these lights? Doesn't the Queen have someone to fan her?
When I'm moving around, my expenditure of energy is a lot higher. If I walked a mile, it would be the equivalent to somebody else walking 3 miles.
When it comes to people using mobility aids like wheelchairs, crutches, frames, anything, it's there to help in whatever state of fatigue, pain or support you need. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use it all day long, every day, and that it's like attached to you.
Please be respectful of everyone in a wheelchair, as there are many reasons why people are in them.
People will try and kind of put their arm under my arm and try and help me across the road. But I've worked so hard for that independence that I want to kind of have that independence for as long as I can. I'd rather people come and speak to me. It might not be the same for everyone.
With a disabled person and somebody with additional needs, let them tell you what they need.
The more people that are aware, the less frustrations people like me with different disabilities would experience.
And it's just giving the person the voice and the platform to say what they need, which is where you can do the most learning. There are things that I need help with, sure, but I know what they are. One really positive example is a job I did earlier this year. I immediately felt so welcomed because prior to going in, I talked through my access requirements with the access coordinator. They could have just had that piece of paper and stopped there and gone, we've got it written down what she needs, but they actually kind of discussed this document with me and gave me the chance to explain that my condition does fluctuate from day to day. I didn't feel othered. I didn't feel that I was asking for too much. And it's because they listened to me and they gave me a chance to speak rather than assuming. And that's such a big thing.
We hope you've picked up a thing or two that's helpful. And if you haven't, just blame it all on Joe.